Shinhwa Group is one of South Korea's largest conglomerates and is headed by the strict and arrogant chairwoman Kang Hee-soo Rae-hai. Her son Gu Jun-pyo Wee Min-hoi, heir to the Shinhwa Group, leads the F4, the most popular and powerful group of boys at the prestigious Shinhwa High School, an ultra-elite school exclusive to the richest families in Korea. Yeon Ji-hoo, Kai Kim Hyung, So Yiji Kim Bum, and Song Woo-bin and Song Woo-bin Jun, Jun-pyo's best friends and rich heirs in their own right, make up the remaining members of the group. When 4 bullies a boy to the verge of suicide, the poor but vivacious GM Jeon-di Ki's son saves his life. A photo of Jeon-di's heroics appears in the newspapers, resulting in media backlash from consumers against the Shinhwa Group. Chairwoman Kang arranges for the commoner Jeon-di to receive a scholarship to attend the high school to appease the outraged consumers. Jeon-di's family runs a dry cleaning business, and she lives in a small home with her parents, Ji Mil-bung, Suk Han-in, and Agong Joam Yi-jin, and her younger brother Jeom Kang-san Park Ji-ben. Immediately, Jeon-di dislikes her wealthy classmates and is disgusted by their obsession with the FEI4 boys. Irked by her strong-headed nature, Jun-pyo singles out Jeon-di to bully, but she refuses to cower and stands up to him, even kicking him in the face. She is the first person to stand up to him and dislike him, which begins to intrigue him. Bored and lonely, he starts to play silly tricks on her and eventually begins to fall for her. Jun-pyo continues to encourage the students, led by a mean group of girls, to bully and torture Jeon-di. She gets attacked with eggs and flour by the bullies. FE4 member Ji-hoo gives her his handkerchief to help clean her up, showing his compassionate side. He saves her from being attacked by a group of boys after school. As a result of his kind actions, Jeon-di starts to develop feelings for Ji-hoo but soon discovers that Ji-hoo fosters a one-sided love for Min Seo-hyun, a successful celebrity, model, and lawyer in training, and his childhood friend. The bullying continues as Jun-pyo drags Jeon-di to a school dance. The mean girls trick Jeon-di into thinking the event is a costume party, so she wears a Wonder Woman outfit. They cause her to fall into the food table, covering her in wet food. Ji-hoo and Seo-hyun rescue her from the humiliation, and Seo-hyun gives her a makeover. The belle of the ball, she dances with Ji-hoo, making Jun-pyo. Seo-hyun befriends Jeon-di and leaves for Paris to pursue her own career. Seeing how unhappy Ji-hoo is, Jeon-di convinces him to follow Seo-hyun. After Ji-hoo leaves the country to pursue a relationship with Seo-hyun, Jeon-di begins to grudgingly spend more time with Jun-pyo. He bullies her into a date, which she initially planned on skipping. Out of guilt for making Jun-pyo wait for her many hours in the snow, she agrees to spend time sightseeing and getting coffee with him. But they end up getting locked in the skylift over. Jun-pyo writes a message on the wall commemorating his first night with Jeon-di, which she sees later and thinks is sweet. Later, Jun-pyo declares to the school that she is his girlfriend. By this time, he has grown on Jeon. Although she thinks he can be overbearing, she realizes that he is actually sweet and acts out because of his lonely childhood. Ji-hoo returns to Korea, causing Jeon-di to feel confused about her feelings. While Jun-pyo relentlessly tries to shower her with affection, she is increasingly distracted by Ji-hoo. During a weekend trip on a private island, She has an accident swimming and Ji-hoo rescues her because Junpyo cannot swim because of an horrible incident that took place when he was a child. This upsets Junpyo. Later, when she has trouble sleeping, Jeondae takes a walk on the beach where she sees a sad Ji-hoo. She comforts him about his past love for Seo-hyun, but he surprises her by declaring his feelings for Jeondae. Junpyo stumbles upon Jeondae and Ji-hoo as they kiss. Junpyo expresses how hurt he is in a rage, punching Ji-hoo in anger and feel betrayed by both Jeondae and Ji-hoo. The next morning, Junpyo leaves the island and becomes reclusive, causing Jeondae to feel guilty. She realizes that she has feelings for her best friend Chu Gae-yul bonds with F4 member So Yi-jung, and she develops a crush on him. Junpyo wants to have Jeondae expelled from school, and his sister suggests a contest of 3 sports to determine who gets their way. If Junpyo wins, Jeondae is expelled. The first event is horse racing, which Junpyo wins, but at the expense of his horse, which he rides too hard and carelessly. The second event is car racing, which Ji-hoo wins despite childhood trauma of car accidents. The third event is swimming, the childhood trauma of Junpyo. Yi-jung offers to swim for Junpyo and Jeondae wants to race for herself. Jeondae wins in a close race. Eventually, while Ji-hoo loves Jeondae, he lets her go because he cares for his friend Junpyo and knows that Jeondae will help him become a better man. When Junpyo's mother, Chairwoman Kang, learns of Junpyo's relationship with Jeondae, she attempts to humiliate Jeondae and her family due to their social status. Jeondae perseveres and finds a friend in a male model who helps her earn money by modeling for a magazine. The photos are suspiciously sexy, angering Junpyo as he feels hurt by Jeondae seeking help from someone else, especially a gorgeous man. Jeondae is kidnapped by the model, who reveals that he is the younger brother of the student whose suicide Jeondae had prevented, and he seeks revenge. The model tries to kiss Jeondae while she is unconscious. Junpyo arrives alone to rescue Jeondae, but the model has him beat up in front of a tied-up Jeondae. The model tries to force Junpyo to promise never to see Jeondae, a request he refuses. Junpyo is beaten to within an inch of his life. In a rage, the model attacks him with a chair, but Jeondae throws herself in the way so the chair hits her instead. The pair are rescued by the FI4 members. The injury that Jeondae sustained from the incident prevents her from swimming in the future. After Junpyo's father falls ill, his mother forces him to begin training to lead the Shinhwa group. He leaves the city, turns cold toward his friends and Jeondae, and begins to accompany his mother to formal events. After 6 months, Jeondae and 4 pursue him and try to convince him to break free. However, he turns them away, plotting to keep the distance between her son and Jeondae. Chairwoman Kang arranges Junpyo's engagement to the heiress Ha Jae-kyung. Jeondae approaches Junhee, Junpyo's loving older sister, for finding work, and she becomes Junpyo's personal maid. It is evident that both Junpyo and Jeondae still love each other. Even though Jae-kyung falls in love with Junpyo and tries to win him over, she soon realizes that she refuses to marry Junpyo. Jae-kyung states that she will feel guilty that she was standing in the way of a relationship that was meant to be. Jandi and Junpyo reunite only for Jandi to leave the city due to her friends being. Junpyo is heartbroken and gets into trouble with the police. Later that week, he gets into a car accident while trying to save Jihoo's life. Junpyo tells Jihoo to take care of Jandi, knowing that Jihoo loves Jandi. Junpyo survives the accident but loses his memories, including those of Jandi. Encouraged by her mother to pursue her heart, Jandi returns to Junpyo but is saddened that he cannot recall who she is. After asking him to try to remember her name, she falls into a pool as he watches, causing him to be flooded by memories of them saving each other from drowning. He calls out her name and rescues her, and they unite once again. Although he asks her to marry him, they decide it is best to pursue their individual dreams first. Junpyo leaves for America, where he furthers the Shinhwa Group and becomes a successful businessman. 4 years later, Jihoo graduates from medical school and still has feelings for Jandi. Jandi is a third-year medical student, while Yi-jung is a successful architect and returns from Sweden for Gae-yul, who has become a teacher who teaches pottery to kids. Junpyo arrives in a helicopter and proposes to Jandi at the beachside. The rest of the four arrive at the same time, and they all walk alongside the beach, smiling happily.